welcome back to Restore to Explore, and today we are pulling out the VN 5 litre out of my 1 tonner that just went in that has some damage. So we are going to be pulling this engine out, stripping it down, seeing what went wrong, and getting all the parts ready to go to the engineers. So I've got the sump off, and it's really not looking good. There's chunks of metal in here. Looks like a bearing's definitely let go, and then also that piston skirt's been absolutely torn to bits by some of the metal shavings that's in the engine. You can see some of the shavings there. There's heaps more in the sump. So I'm going to be looking at new pistons, obviously new bearings, and then it's just going to depend on how much damage it's done, even though it was only not running for that long, how much it's damaged the cylinder wall, and how much it's already been oversized, and if we can go even larger. So yeah, it's not been a good day. Cleaning out the sump, and after I'd pulled apart all the bearings, I couldn't find any large chunks that I was seeing in the sump. I was thinking, where are these large bits of metal coming from that have obviously gone through and ruined the engine? So there's a bit of corrosion on the inside of this sump, and I've just chipped off some flakes of the inside of the sump. And I cleaned this sump out when I did the engine refresh, when I gave it a bit of a reseal. And I've just chipped off a couple of little pieces of rusty metal from the inside of this sump, which it seems, I've just had a look at the bits that I pulled out of the engine. They've come off, they've gone around the bottom, blocked the pickup. That's caused the oil starvation, it's gotten into the bearings, what damaged the piston, all because it had a rusty sump because it sat for so long. Oh, how disappointing. And I missed it when I pulled this off last time. So that's really unfortunate. It's really, really unfortunate, but what do you do? So I've got this engine all pulled down to the block now. Gonna get this sent to the machine shop. I've got all of the pistons, I've got the crank, the cam, everything's all pulled apart, cleaned up in boxes, ready to go. So I'll get it sent to the machine shop. Hopefully they'll just be able to hone out the damage to that cylinder. I gave it another look after I cleaned it up. It doesn't look like the cylinder will need to be sleeved. Maybe 50 or 70 thou oversized pistons should be able to cover that. So I'll get new pistons. I'll get the heads freshened up because they had a lot of carbon build-up, so it'll be good just to do the valve stem seals and things like that as well. The valves in this thing are huge. It's got huge oversized valves in it, so that's pretty cool. And then, yeah, hopefully I'll have all that done by the end of next week. I'll be able to put this engine back together, back in the car, but I got plenty of stuff to do on the car until then. So it has slowed me down a little bit, but nonetheless, we got plenty of stuff to do. Alright, so it's been about a week, but I've just gotten back all of the engine components from the machine shop. So we've only had to go 30 thou oversized. Let me give you a bit of a rundown of this block. So what I've done is I've gone through these middle channels down here is where the oil drains back. Now apparently these engines are notorious for, at high revs, getting a lot of oil up the top end and it not draining back. So I've gone and I've die-grinded out all of these oil passages here. That's something that I've heard to do. But also we've gotten the block bored out to 30 thou oversize. We've got some new cam bearings in there. The crank has been ground down. I think that was 20 thou oversize. We've got the heads. They've just gotten service, so new valve stem seals. The valves have been reseated. Everything's been obviously acid bathed, cleaned up. I've got myself a set of flat top pistons, so a bit higher compression. Also got myself a stage 2 camshaft. And that's about as much as we're doing as in far as performance upgrades. Stage 2 cam, flat top pistons, and the plan is to get this engine back together, painted, all the accessories back on and in the car today. So it is 20 past 10, 16th of December 2022. And my plan is, before I leave here today, as I said, have it all done back in the car. So I've got a lot of work to do, so let's just jump straight into it. I was just torquing up the main caps and one of them's just snapped on me. And it didn't even show any signs. I was doing it all in order. They were all getting up to torque, and then this one did this one, and then just did that one there. Didn't even feel that tight yet, and then just snapped. And these were the old bolts, so anyhow, this definitely won't be getting done today. Alright, so I've just ordered a new set of main bolts, but now the interesting thing is going to be is where this snapped and how hard it's going to be to actually get it out. Oh yeah, that's not fun at all. It's actually snapped less than flush with the block, so yeah, gonna have to probably do a bit of drilling. I'm gonna try and see if I can start rotating it without drilling, because drilling, then you're gonna start getting bits of crap down inside the engine, and yeah, we just don't want that. So I'm gonna fiddle with that for a bit, see if I can't get it to come out, but it didn't actually get super tight, which is, it did start to tighten up, but it's not like the threads were binding. I'd cleaned out all the threads, so it wasn't like there was a little bit of metal or something in the thread that did it. I probably just should have put new bolts in when I was doing all this. That's just, yeah, I just didn't think of it, so another mistake. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and try and get this out. Alright, so I've constructed a masking tape dam. I'm gonna try and get a bit of a drill hole in there so I can put an easy out in and get that out. Alright, so it's nearly 8 o'clock, and after wrestling with the engine, I had to take the clutch back out and put that back in because it wasn't lining up. Everything is hooked up. I had to prime the pump a bunch to get oil pressure build, then we got oil pressure. Now I've got the dizzy and everything kind of hooked up, and we're going to give it its first go at starting. We tried once before, but the dizzy was in the wrong spot. This is the first go that it should start, so let's see what happens. All right, so fuel pump. Yep. You've got no throttle. All right, so I don't even know what time it is at the moment, but I'm going home. We got it started, and we checked, we pulled the sensor off. Unfortunately, this oil pressure sensor isn't actually working, so I'm gonna have to get a new one of those, but I pulled the sensor out, and then we started the engine and oil was pouring out, so it's pumping oil. But it wasn't getting oil up to the head. So I've pulled off one of the rocker covers, done a bit of research, and people are saying on forums and things like that, that with these particular engines, they've got to be run at about 2,000 RPM for around 30 seconds before it can build enough pressure to actually get it up through the lifters, especially when it's kind of the first time. So to do that, I'm obviously gonna need the radiator and stuff in. So that's all gonna be done tomorrow, but hopefully we're one step closer to getting this thing working, and then we can run it in and get this thing driving, finally. All right, so I've just put the radiator back in, put all the hoses on, filled it up, and I'll show you guys what it does. And wait for it. Come on. There we go. Oil pressure coming up. It has been a full-on day. I've been going non-stop, but I've got the bonnet back on, I've got the front bumper on. I'm gonna take it outside and I'm gonna take it for a drive up and down, run through the gears. Still got some stuff to do with the ignition timing, bit of carby tuning, but I just wanna make sure there's no rattles and any noises before I put it back up on the hoist to check everything out one more time.